Many malls are struggling, and some are even in danger of shuttering. As malls generally have plenty of parking, there is a lot of what is possibly the worst land use: empty asphalt. At the same time, housing prices are up, and affordable housing is often at a premium. Given this combination of factors, perhaps some of that unused mall parking lot asphalt can turn into housing in the future. And near major transit hubs, that housing could be transit-oriented development, which is development that really maximizes the number of homes, businesses, etc. near high-quality transit. So, in this video, I will talk about 10 mall parking lots that could and should turn into transit-oriented development if the mall downsizes or shuts down. Before going into my list, I want to have one ground rule. The ground rule is that I will select one transit station per metro area, just for the sake of geographic diversity. Besides, the goal of this video is to not necessarily pick on any one particular metro area, because, after all, poor land use around major public transit stations is an issue across the United States. Let's start with California, shall we? Namely, the San Francisco Bay Area. The mall parking lots I want to feature for the Bay Area are the ones near the San Bruno BART station. One mall is the Shops at 10 Foreign, while the other is the San Bruno Town Center. San Bruno is not the lowest ridership BART station, but it's definitely in the lower run. Maybe some transit-oriented development near where some of the tarmac is would help. Also, the housing needs to be affordable, because the Bay Area has a long-term affordable housing crisis. I'll pick on California a little more, for the next mall parking lots in this video are in Sacramento. Yes, I spoke in the plural, because there are 2 mall parking lots near the Zinfandel station. Those lots are for Zinfandel Plaza and Cordova Village. Given my singling out of this station, I find it ironic, in a sad way, that the Wikipedia page for this station says, quote, Rancho Cordova city officials have stated the establishment of this station will help in the development of transit-oriented development/redevelopment of the Folsom Corridor through the city, end quote. Well, I'm not sure this was what Rancho Cordova city officials had in mind when talking about transit-oriented development. Maybe they wanted to advertise the development of transit-oriented parking lots instead. Let's head out of California and into Arizona, namely Phoenix. I was tempted to highlight this Walmart Supercenter over by the Metro Parkway stop on the B line. But no matter how enormous this parking lot is, a Walmart by itself is not a mall. So, I went with the Christown Spectrum parking over by the Montebello 19th Avenue stop on the B. There is a Walmart here as well, but it's part of a larger mall. Man, if this were a land use channel that happened to talk about transportation, rather than a transportation channel that happened to talk about land use, the land use around Walmart should be its own video topic. Anyway, the Phoenix metro area is fast-growing, and continues to be fast-growing, which really should cast doubt on this land being used for empty tarmac, as opposed to transit-oriented development. Heading from Arizona to Colorado, let's take a look at the land use of a rail station in the Denver area. Now, from what I've heard and found, many of Denver's rail stations aren't exactly known for having great land use around a number of its rail stations. And the land use around the Aurora Metro Center station on the R line is no different. It's just seas of parking lots on one side of the station. The one thing I find more shocking then the seas of parking is that 27 rail stations in the Denver area managed to have lower ridership than this monstrosity. Now that I'm finished talking about Denver, let's mess with Texas, namely Dallas-Fort Worth. And I will zero in on the two shopping malls near the Park Lane stop on the dark red and orange lines. Those malls are the shops at Park Lane and North Park Center. The Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is expected to grow by nearly 1 million people in just the next few years. So, I don't know, maybe a little bit of empty tarmac can be used for new housing. The one issue is that North Park Center and the DART station are on opposite sides of the highway. So that sucks. Still, there's a lot of land in the area that can be used for some good old TOD. The next 5 mall parking lots I'll talk about in this video are in the eastern United States. And the first of them is in Atlanta. This whole area on Atlanta's Red Line through the Dunwoody and Sandy Springs stations is littered with mall parking lots. There's already plenty MARTA in the Atlanta area has to battle before we get to the lousy land use. Also, I should note that some projections indicate that the Atlanta area will add 1.8 million people between now and 2050. So this is some area that can be redeveloped from tarmac to housing. Heading north to Charlotte, this gem of a mall parking lot is near the I-485 station. A snippet for one highlighted review of this mall said, quote, "Mall is not crowded, parking is easy," end quote. Some reviews dispute the ease of the parking by this mall, but there is no doubt that if this mall ever downsized or disappeared entirely, it's an opportunity for housing. Especially given it being a terminal for one of the light rail lines, and given how much Charlotte has grown and continues to grow, and how much Charlotte is expected to grow in coming years. I feel like none of the cities I've highlighted thus far are known for great transit, which makes the inclusion of a mall area in the Washington, D.C. metro a bit of an outlier. But I have to mention the Westfield Wheaton Shopping Mall, which is near the Wheaton stop on DC Metro's Red Line. Given this land use, perhaps it's no great surprise that this is one of the lowest ridership stations on the Red Line. Staying in the DMV region, let's take a look at the sea of parking around the Hunt Valley Town Center, near the northern terminus of Baltimore's light rail line. I originally had mixed feelings about picking on Baltimore, but then I realized that I would be critiquing the land use of Baltimore County, which has been gaining population in recent decades, rather than Baltimore City, which has been losing population for decades. Therefore, I don't feel so bad about picking on this station, which might have more parking space than some sports stadiums. Just wild stuff. As a relevant tangent, the fact that there are trees and farms just north of this mall highlights how lousy suburban land use affects rural areas too. Trees, as well as farming where you can grow actual food, seem like a much better use of land than, I don't know, unused tarmac. And so would housing. But what do I know? Before talking about the last mall parking lot that should be turned into transit-oriented development, I should mention some sites that nearly made my list. I desperately wanted to include a Midwestern city on here, but most places I looked at either didn't have the transit to make this list, like Indianapolis, or the population growth, like Chicago. I was tempted to put the Mall of America in Minneapolis on this list, but given that the Mall of America is near the airport there, I worry about confusing mall parking with airport parking, especially since I'm not a Minneapolis native. Anywho, if I'm going to pick on other cities' mall surface parking, I may as well pick on my own city as well, which is New York City. The Metro Mall, over by the Metropolitan Avenue stop on the M train, has its fair share of surface parking. Between this and the nearby cemetery, this stop isn't in an environment conducive to high station ridership. The two saving graces are the nearby Catholic high school and the fact that it connects to bus lines going to other parts of Queens that have no subway lines. Maybe if Queens had more rail, we'd need less surface parking at this mall, and some of the surface parking could be used for housing instead. So, there you have it. Mall parking lots that should be used for transit-oriented development in the future.